Hi everyone! Today I'm going to show you how to make a really simple and delicious recipe for chicken and dumplings. It's lectin free and gluten free, and it's pretty easy to make. So the first ingredient you're going to need is about 4 tablespoons of a fat, and this is unsalted butter that I made, which is compliant with the plant paradox diet. You can also use 4 tablespoons of French butter or ghee, and so you're going to add that to the Dutch oven and you're going to melt it over medium-high heat. Once the butter has melted, you're going to add this is 1 small chopped onion, or you could do half of a large onion. I have also chopped up about 2 leeks. The thing about leeks is you have to make sure when you're cutting them that you really wash the inside cavity of it, because it has a lot of dirt that can really accumulate in there. So I add about a teaspoon of salt. You can always add more later. Okay, so we're gonna cook this for about 7 or 8 minutes until it really softens up. Okay, so the leeks and onions have been cooking in the butter for about 8 minutes, and they're looking nice and soft. So I'm gonna go ahead and stir in 5 tablespoons of cassava flour. And that's gonna make a roux to thicken up my chicken and dumplings. Once that cassava flour is really mixed in with the onions and leeks, you're gonna go ahead and add in about 1/4 cup of red wine to really scrape up all of those brown bits that are at the bottom of the pot. And now we're gonna add 4 cups of the liquid. You can use water. I am using homemade chicken stock that we froze. Next, you're gonna add 1/4 cup of A2 Casein milk from grass-fed cows. You're going to add 1 bay leaf. If it's a small bay leaf, you can add 2. And I like to use some tarragon, so we sprinkle some of that in it. And then you're gonna also add some thyme. Then you're gonna add the chicken. This is a pound of pastured chicken thighs that the fat has been trimmed and I've chopped it. Okay. Then turn up the heat so you can get this up to a boil, because we're gonna turn it down in a minute to simmer it until the chicken really cooks. Once it starts boiling, just give it a stir and then turn down the heat to low and cover your Dutch oven. And let that simmer until the chicken is cooked. While the stew is cooking, you're going to start making the dumplings. So what I need is about 1 cup of blanched almond flour. Add half a cup of arrowroot powder. Next, I'll add 1/4 cup of coconut flour, 1/4 cup of tapioca flour, 1 tablespoon of aluminum-free baking powder. I'll add about 1/4 of a teaspoon of xanthan gum. The xanthan gum helps hold the dumplings together, so you don't have to really use an egg. Add about a teaspoon of salt. For flavor, I'm also going to just sprinkle some onion powder in it. Also some chives that have been dried. If you have fresh chives, that also tastes really nice. And toss that together. So I have 1 cup of milk, which is the A2 milk, and I've also added 3 tablespoons of the homemade butter. So we're gonna warm this up in the microwave just until the butter melts, so we don't want it to get too warm and overheat. Okay, so I warmed the milk and the butter in the microwave for about 1.5 minutes, and the butter has melted into the milk. There's still like a little piece left, and that's good because it tells me that the milk didn't get too hot. And so now I'm just gonna pour that in, start mixing that and stirring it into the flour. Okay, I've added about 1.5 tablespoons more of arrowroot flour because I wanted the mixture to be a little thicker. It was just a little too runny before, and so I want it to be more like a dough. Okay, so that looks pretty good. It's slowly falling off the spoon here. We're gonna go ahead and check on the stew. It's been cooking for about 12 minutes. And it's thickened up a bit. Let's take a piece of chicken and see how that's coming along. So yep, that's done. Okay, so now it's the fun part. We're gonna add the dumplings. So we're gonna take about a tablespoon of the dumpling dough and just ease it into the pot like that. And that's it, just drop them in. So I've spooned all of the dumplings in there and given it a stir. And already you can see they're starting to cook, so I'm going to cover it up and cook it a little bit longer. The chicken and dumplings have been cooking for about 3 to 4 minutes, so we're gonna go ahead and take a look. The dumplings have grown in size, so that is definitely ready to serve. So I'm gonna turn off the heat and I'm going to find the bay leaf and take that out. Just grab a ladle. Doesn't that look beautiful? And that's my lectin-free, gluten-free chicken and dumplings recipe.